This documentary tells the story of how I became the lady I am today. A journey of clarity, choosing myself, faith in God, and divine alignment as I turned 25. Through grief, heartbreak, healing, obedience, pressure, and personal development, I learned to own my voice, stand in purpose, live my strong will, and stop playing small. This is my becoming and an invitation for you to embrace yours.
I'm Dunnie, Akinomi Oluwagbemini, Doña Dunnie for short, and it's Doña, not Donna. So always note that. So this is the first chapter. I thought I knew her, and here I'm just going to be telling a little bit of history when it comes to myself. Okay, so I grew up as a what most people would call rich kid. I was always very comfortable. I was always whatever I needed, whatever I wanted, I always got it. And so I think that made me kind of stoic, made me stoic, and I was stuck up. I mean, to still a certain point in my life, I was stuck up, and well, I was brilliant. Yeah, like everything just always came, so natural and simple to me. I had like the best parents in the world. I'm the firstborn, first daughter, only girl. I have a little brother, and so it just always came like that. I've sort of been a person that is very stern, very firm, very disciplined. So like what I say goes, that kind of person. And I've always been just straight like that. And so I always came off as too hard. Like, that external, hardness at the exterior, and then inside they say I'm soft. But when it came to my own, story, hard outside, hard inside. Like I literally did not have empathy. I sort of lacked emotions. I barely cried, and things like that. So I was that kind of person, that sort of person, and it changed at a certain point in my life. So it all changed in secondary school. Yeah, I'm going to say secondary school, when I was a teenager, and when I had like a lot of people come at me because of the kind of person I was. Like there was just a lot of backlash. They would say I'm harsh, I'm proud, I'm stoic, I'm wicked, I'm this, I'm that, aggressive, and all of that. But to me, I just saw it as I'm just being me. And so, to say the least, I was kind of disliked for that. And even the friends I thought I had were not my friends actually. And something happened to me. So I'm just going to tell you guys this brief story. So I'm a kind of person I used to journal. I used to journal before, like way before. So like coupled with the fact that I didn't really have friends. So like my journal was literally my best friend. And so I'll write everything. If someone did stuff to me, I'm going to put it there. If I felt some kind of way, I'm going to write it there. And it just always kept on going like that. I was in JS1, okay? So I kept on journaling and not realizing that people actually did not like the way I always kept to myself, with them saying, oh, I'm proud, I'm aggressive, I'm harsh, I'm this, I'm that. They didn't like the way I always kept to myself. And so they just wanted to know what always goes on in my head. And so they resorted to, stealing my journal from my locker. And then it was revealed to like the whole school. And then I was like hated for it. But I didn't care. Like I stood up to them all one by one. And yeah, I guess it was from there I became like this really strong, willed person that I am today. Because I believe that if at that young age, I could be gone against, I don't know if that English is correct, but if people could go against me at that young age, how much more right now? Like I can literally face the world. And yeah, I'm not going to talk about faith now, but that's just like a little backstory about me. And I'm just telling this story just for you guys to know that you can become at any age. You don't have to be 50, you don't have to be 25 like me, you don't have to be 30, but just know that you can become at any age. And the time you start becoming is when you begin to make your decisions from your heart, from your own will, and from your mind. So this is where everything changed. And in this part, I would love to talk about heartbreaks. I love to talk about grief, and I love to talk about the sad part. Okay, so I've always been a happy-go-lucky child, even with my stoic self, and So I've always kind of been, I'm not a people person, but I just like being around people. And so the year everything changed was 2020. I know that year took a toll on each and every one of us. I mean, that was the COVID year. So what's expected? We were all on lockdown. And all of that. But for me, it was a very different year, and it started on a very, early note. So it was the 16th of January 2020 when I lost my dad. Okay, so backstory: my dad has always been like my superstar. He's in the media. He was in the media like me. So I told his line. I'm actually a science student, but that year everything changed, and automatically I became a media student. I finished my sciences though. So and that was where everything changed. And to see where I'm coming from, I always saw my dad like my hero. He was like a very present dad, like he was present in my life and in all of our lives generally. I mean, so he was that kind of person. I mean, well-known person. What do you expect when they say prophet is not honored in his home? Well, that was my dad. We didn't know his importance till he died. And that was where like grief took a hold of me. Like, so knowing that I'm not the kind of person to cry, I don't, get sad and all of that. This one actually shook me. I would say I cried, but just, will I say once? Just once, I cried. And then it dawned on me. And I'm just going to talk about grief here in a brief second. So, grief is something I believe has happened to each and every one of us. No matter who you are, you will surely have lost someone. And in this case, in my case now, I lost someone like so dear to me, which was my dad. And I feel it can't be compared to like any other thing. Like that's like the worst thing I'll wish on anybody, regardless of who you are. I mean, my enemy, my friend, whatever, blah blah blah. That's like the least thing I'll ever wish on somebody. And at that moment in time in my life, I was like floating. So I didn't know what was happening around me. I mean, we always had visitors, people were always like coming around. And so I was enjoying the sight. So seeing everybody, having people around me was like my solace, okay? And so seeing everybody and all of that, I felt so comfortable. I didn't like being alone. If I was alone, then I'll be scared. I don't know. I just have like this childish mind, like, it's going to happen to me, and things like that. But it does not happen. It does not happen. And yeah, so I enjoyed people around me, and I would love to like just tell you guys. I know everybody has grieved in one way or the other, but the way people grieve is different, and you don't expect people to like grieve the way you do. If people want to be left alone, please leave them alone, but not leave them alone, because it can also like lead to depression. Always from a distance, watch over them, kind of, if you get the drift. And if people want to be around you, please try and be around people. Do you understand? Like, just be there for them if they want that. Whatever they want, just always, if you're a kind person, just always make sure like you're around them. And so that's that about grief, about heartbreaks. Jesus. This one is sort of a long story, but let me just briefly say it. So this we never dated, but the heartbreak was strong. It paid me, but that's that. I'm not going to like dwell too much on that. I mean, life happens, and that's that. So where the whole thing now actually changed, and I realized that now I need to like focus on what really matters. Like I said, was when I lost my dad. That was when I guess my brain started working, because while he was there, my brain was literally not working. But when he actually bye bye, so my brain started working, functioning. Actually, I started to think for myself. Before, decisions were always made for me by my parents. I mean, what was my business? Money just to live, and just live large. But when he died, like I now started like thinking, what do I have to do? And that was when I had to like kind of veer from being a science person to a media person. And that was where the whole thing began. And funny enough, right now it's working out really great for me. I mean, without even using its connections, because in the end, I want to make a name for myself. Fine, I want to ride on the name is built down, but at the same time, I want to like make a name for myself. So people know me for Doña Dunnie. And yeah, so I believe that was where my life turned around. So that was where I believe I started getting more empathic, to a little extent. So, I'm still learning. I started becoming more conscious of myself. My will started getting stronger. So like now, I could literally make decisions for myself, and I could literally like stand on whatever I say. Like what I say must work. Like it has to go like that. And So at that point, I believe that life happens to like the best of us. And from there, it's not for us to like knock ourselves out or stay down, but it's how we get back up. And yeah, I guess that's just the part from this one because don't expect me to cry. I mean, it's grief. It's 5 years now. So I think that's the lesson from this aspect of my life. Okay, so I guess this chapter is about faith. I mean, I knew the topic of it, but I just knew it's about faith. And I'm going to tell you about my faith journey. So, like I said, growing up, I was thoughtless, Nero, no, like Yoruba people would say, and it all changed. And so I was kind of, but it all changed while I was still in secondary school, a teenager. Yeah, I was in senior secondary, and I had this friend that I liked. So I went to an only girls, secondary school, Federal Government Girls College, Shagamu, and I had this friend that I liked. Please note, I'm not gay, but I liked her, and we were we were kind of close. And she was a church baby, church girl. And me, I just read my Bible like when we go to church, open Bible. After that, we close it till the next Sunday. So that was my kind of lifestyle there. And so she started like influencing me, and then I started like okay, actually studying. And I feel like that was the first part that like God really like came for my jugular. And after a while, will I say I slipped again? But the time that I actually like stood my ground, like I said, was 2020 when the whole thing went. And yeah, so that was when I actually like rededicated my life to God. And it was from then that I started like actually walking in it. So way back, I'm kind of person that I see things like in dreams, in visions, like Job 33:14. It is not 33, 38 or 39, 14 to like 16 says, like God speaks to us in dreams, in visions, and in all sorts, but we don't seem to hear. And I feel like that was kind of like my story. So I used to, see things like I literally like dreamt of like some certain things that were going to happen much later in my life, but I didn't take cognizance to it. And so it was when it actually happened that it clicked in my head that, okay, so God has always like wanted me so close. He always wanted me to be like so dear to, oh, actually, I was dear to his heart. I am dear to, scratch that. He just always wanted me like so close to him. And I was the one running away. So it was like he was coming this way, I was going this way. And 2020 turned my life around. And that was when he spoke to me. So I was just literally like just doing like an house chore in the house one day, and knowing that my dad was gone, and it was for me like I always got the money, as per rich baby girl. And I just got thinking that day like, wait, he has gone, now will be giving me money. Not that my mother doesn't give me money, she will not give you money, but what you want to use the money to buy is what she will give you. She doesn't believe in like giving children money. So it just got me thinking. One day I was just doing a chore in the house, and I was like, where will I even get money from? How will I live my rich baby girl lifestyle I'm so used to living? And drivers and cars and stuff like that. And then loud and clear, but also subtly, I heard a voice. And I just knew it was the one. Like you cannot miss it. I just knew it was the one. And it told me, he called my name. That one shocked me. And I think there's a Bible verse that says he knows you by your name or something. Yeah, I'm not good with numbers, so I may not know where exactly, but there's a Bible verse that says that. And he called my name. And he was like, did you always think it was always your daddy that always did those things for you? It was always me. I always did it through him. In those exact words. I was dazed, I was stunned. And I was like, now it's all making sense to me. Because there's sometimes, I would like just go up to meet him. I need money. And be like, I don't have it though, but let's see before 6 o'clock. Guys, I promise you, by 3 o'clock that day, I've received a lot. Like, my phone is already singing. And so I'm now wondering, where is it coming from? And for him to have made that statement, specifically telling me in those exact words, it then dawned to me that even while I was going this way, instead of this way, he was still coming after me. I think there's a song like that, chasing after me or something, 99 sheep for the one shepherd or something. Don't mind me. So, yeah, and that was when like things changed. And I saw that, why keep running like a goat? I'm not a goat. I'm an actual human. So why would someone keep chasing after me? I'm not telling the person no. I'm not telling the person pause. I'm still running and the person still keeps chasing. That's telling a kind of, it's giving a signal. It's telling a story. It's hinting me at something. And so I actually went to him, and my life like took a 360. from that day on. It was a very beautiful thing, and I kept on. And there was also this verse that also stuck with me, Jeremiah 33, verse 3. Call upon me, and I will show you great and mighty things that have been hidden from the foundations of the earth. Now, that verse, I never knew I was praying that verse till I now actually started seeing and hearing things, from God. And then I believed that whatever you say to yourself actually comes to pass. Sometimes you may not be intentional about saying it. You might be saying it off the top of your head. But when it will now come to pass, you will not be thinking that, so this that I was saying was actually like working. Because there was another verse of the Bible I used to pray to myself, James 1:5, wisdom. If any of you lacks wisdom, call upon, the Lord, and he'll give you generously and graciously. I used to just pray that prayer like, wisdom, God, give me sense. Do you understand? Because, Nero knew now. Do you guys get the drift? And so I just pray that prayer like, God, give me sense. And I just actually realized that I actually have the sense. And how? That will be in another chapter, because this chapter is just all about faith. And that was like where my faith journey started, and I'm still growing in the faith. I'm enjoying it actually, because it's really good to see things. And in that aspect of seeing things, when you are the kind of person that will be asking God, God, I want to see. God, open my eyes. True, when God opens your eyes, can you stand it? Because I was asking God to open my eyes. He opened my eyes. It happened, finish. My eye clear. Oh. And that doesn't still mean that I'll still tell God not to open my eyes. No, you should keep opening it. So I will see that things that will happen before that. And in the spiritual realm, I'll see that, okay, I am to clear it or to allow it. Because when He opened my eyes to see, I asked for it. I didn't clear it. And so it happened. And then my eyes clear. So it's better I see things before they happen, see it, clear it, or allow it in the spiritual, and it comes to pass in the physical. And yeah, that brings me to the end of my story on faith. It turns out when you actually set your mind to something, you will surely achieve it. Now, it may take a bit of time and it might be shorter, whichever one your head chooses, but you will surely achieve it. So I'm going to re-emphasize again, my life changed in 2020. And that was when I actually like stepped into my own becoming, so to speak. So I started to like make decisions for myself, be assertive in my, my yeses and my nos, and actually like stand on business. And that's when I'm going to say like I actually found the clear path onto which like I'm touring. So like I said, that was when like my life changed. I mean, I lost my dad. That was also when, I decided I'm no more going to be a medical doctor, but now a media person. So brief story, I actually wanted to be a doctor. Yeah. Obstetrics and gynecology to be precise, because I love babies. And so I've always been like working towards that from like little, okay? And so jam. Actually, jam, not jam me. I jam as per intelligent kid. So I jam instead, but still like it just didn't work out. Those kind of situations whereby you did well, but I don't know, you can't just get medicine. And I guess that's where I should have learned, that God was like kind of redirecting me, but I know learned my lesson. I tried for the second time, and this time I actually did A levels. I passed my A levels, but I now did A levels in FUNAB. Now FUNAB doesn't have medicine, only vet medicine. And I decided, okay, I'm going to do vet medicine, then go back to study medicine. The trip was a long one. Okay, so eventually I didn't also get vet medicine. That should also have been like a redirection. But no, my stubborn self will still press on. Motivational speakers now, they'll tell you, keep going until you get it. Keep going, oh. Let your head tell you the right thing to do. And so I didn't also get vet. So I was like, okay, let me just do, zoology instead. And I did zoology. I was thinking, while doing zoology, I was like, okay, after zoology, switch to medicine, continue my lifelong dream and blah, blah, blah. Then 2020 happened, and it turns out I'm not even interested in sciences no more. It was then I realized that I am more freer and more active around human beings than actual, animals. Though I love animals. Minus reptiles. I love animals. But turns out I'm actually a people person. I love people. I love hanging around people, and discovered that, okay, I mean, why not if not media? And so now I'm in digital marketing. 5 years now, 5 years. It's evidence and results to show. And worked in various industries, minus beauty and lifestyle. Beauty and fashion. Lifestyle, I mean, it's just lifestyle. Minus beauty and fashion. And yeah, basically that was when my life just got in order, just took shape, basically. And then my work with God again, like literally increased that year again, and up till now it's been really good. I mean, so like that was where I actually found clarity. And it's in this space that I'm going to like actually speak to someone out there. If you're feeling confused, you're feeling tired, you're feeling lost, I mean, it's normal. It happens to the best of us. I mean, it's just life. We've not done this life before. This is the first time doing life, and we're expected to make mistakes. But you should now make those mistakes and stick to it, or keep making those mistakes, or just sleep there because you made a mistake. I mean, that's what is wrong now. You have to step out of those mistakes and move forward. Now, like I said, you're confused, you're tired, you're this, you're that. First of all, acknowledge it. Like, become aware that, okay, I'm actually this. Because I believe that's like the first step to like becoming. First thing is to become self-aware. And I believe that was when my personal development journey began. I mean, it started actually my personal development journey. Actually, my personal development journey began in 2018, and that was like after the heartbreak. Yes, sometimes you get redirection and clarity from heartbreaks. So, and that was where like it began. 17 or 16, because I was 16, so that was like 2016. Yeah. That was when I realized I started becoming self-aware. I mean, more self-aware. I started like, so at the end of my day, I kind of replay the day's events in my head and like see the places I went wrong, the places I should have done better, the places I should have been better, and the places I should like I've actually striked in case I was disrespected, because I hold like respect so close to my heart. It's one of my core values: respect, confidence, loyalty. Those are like my basic core values that I really hold dearly. And in my day-to-day activities, I realized that I should always, or to the best of my ability, be exhibiting those particular values. And so like clarity just came in so many forms, so many ways. And I'll say it started with self-awareness. Yeah, personal development journey, and it was up from there. Because sometimes I look at this day and age, I'm a Gen Z, yeah, I'm a Gen Z, but sometimes if I mostly get that I behave like a millennial, like I have an old mind in a young body. Yeah, so I just sort of see the way people behave, and I'm like, it's just people behaving abnormal. Like, this is just the normal thing. But no, we just like to like go the abnormal route and then get into a different kind of shit, and we now tend to like come back and it's just so rowdy. And that was what brought me into the personal development space, and realized that there's not so many people in this space. And I just said that it was a space I could thrive. It's a space that I'm actually like passionate about, and I feel like I'm doing my best, coupled with, James 1:5, wisdom from the Lord. I mean, click, click, click. So yeah, that's what's keeping me going. So what becoming the lady I am actually today looks like. What does it look like? I mean, this is me. I feel this time I am more stern. If I was any sterner before, right now, best believe I'm worse. I stand my ground. I don't take shit from nobody. I mean, I know what I want, and I believe if you know what you want, you can't just be tossed to and fro like Bible says, like the wind of doctrine or something along that line. Scrap that. But yeah, seriously, if you actually know what you want, you will stand your ground, stand your footing, be firm, regardless of whoever, be it family, be it friends. And just because you just want them to actually recognize that you know what you're doing, you have your values and all of that. So that is me in that space. Like I said, my core values, I don't joke with them. Starting with respect. I believe everyone should be respected. Like even a newborn child should be respected. I mean, even animals should be respected. I don't play with animals. They should be respected. And any form of disrespect, I don't take, regardless of who you are. I mean, I don't like to say this, but at the same time, I love to say it. Even fools grow old. There are fools at 40. So you can't expect, someone that age to now disrespect me, and I'll just stare at you like, fine, I might not go, bat at it with you, but I will let you know that you've crossed the line and you shouldn't try that anymore with me. So that's another, way I'm becoming. Another way is actually, like I'll say, decisions. I've always had like a hard time taking decisions on my own. Seeing that while growing up, I mean, decisions were always made for me by my parents. So right now, starting to take decisions by myself. I can't say I'm making the best decisions, but take a look at me right now. I believe I am. I'm still trying because it's kind of hard. I doubt myself sometimes. And yeah, it just always works out because in the end, I think I have God. Do I think? No, I know. I know I have God with me, and actually, coupled with like the gift of seeing, and yeah, just always helps me. So I believe that's what like my becoming comes looks like. Small beginnings, small wins. Okay, so I actually have a win I want to say here. I know I've said it before, but you guys may not have caught it. So I started as a digital marketer in 2020, like you guys know. And basically I was self-taught. Okay, so I used to run a business, Fragrance by Donia, but I ran it down into the ground because I don't know, I'm a goody two shoes. You can't, bro, I'll just give you the perfume, be going. You may not pay me. And then I didn't know that like it was, but that is by the way. I just literally enjoyed that business. I mean, I feel like I was giving people joy or happiness in a way. So like it was self-taught. I used that to practice. Then I used my own page to, to practice. And 2022 came. I mean, that was like 2 years into the business. And I got a job. Now let me shock you guys. I got a job and it wasn't in Naira. Like I don't know how I did it. I'm very sure it wasn't me because if it was up to me, I wasn't going to get that job. But I got a job and it wasn't in Naira. I was paid in euros. And for a 2 years experienced digital marketer, to be paid in, I mean, I dare to say the second biggest currency in the world. I mean, it was life changing. So I believe like that was a win, a very huge win for me. And it was after that, then I started getting paid in Naira. Naira, 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 Naira. So my story changed. So like my story changed again, like the middle of this year. Yeah. So like that's just a win, I believe. Yeah. And this is the second win. This documentary I'm doing is like it is a second win. Because I never even expected myself to do this. Like it just came from the spur of a moment, and I thought I can't just be 25 and it will just pass like that. There has to be something. There has to be sort of value I'm giving to people. And what's other value than personal development? I mean, I'm so passionate about it. I love personal development, and yeah, I would say this is another win. A third win is okay. This doesn't have to do with personally. So if you remember my backstory, I said I wanted to become a vet. I couldn't achieve that, but guess who achieved it? My younger brother. And he was following my footsteps. You too, he didn't know what he wanted to do. He just saw, oh, my sister wants to be a doctor, I also want to be a doctor. And so we all pushed ourselves into science classes. And he got vet like once. And he's doing well at it, like absolutely well. And I'm so proud of him. Like, I'm waiting for his induction. That one, we'll get that one too. And that should be next year, I guess. So, yeah, that's also like an achievement, meaning that I am leading right. I think I'm doing this firstborn thing right in a way. I'm doing this first daughter thing right in a way. And that is like proof. And I'm seeing that, in fact, it's a small win. It's a big win. And I'm proud of him for that. So, yeah, those are like wins. I still encounter some problems, sometimes. Comes to decisions again, making decisions, knowing the right things to do sometimes. I mean, it's so easy for people to say, oh, this is the right thing to do, this is. But when it actually comes down to it, it is you and that situation alone. How then do you take your decisions? How do you make it right? I'll need answers to that in the comments, by the way. How do you make decisions? Like life-changing decisions. I need to know that. Do you just wing it or see as it goes? Or, from the leading of God, the Holy Spirit, or how exactly? Because I just get confused sometimes, and I mean, we are human. So, yeah. So, I guess that is my becoming right now, and I'll update you guys as we go. And yes, one other win, but it's not to be for now. I'm giving myself a very huge birthday gift this year, and I mean, it's something that I'm proud of because this one, I'm doing it myself. Okay, so as you guys know, like my creative director will say, I'm a Nepo baby. So I always got a new phone every 2 years back then. Every 2 years, I always got a new phone, regardless of the situation of the previous phone. So I always got a new phone. I got my last new phone in 2019. My dad passed in 2020. So obviously I was to get a new phone in 2021. Guys, you guys will not believe that is that phone I've been using till now. Okay, so in 2022, I now used my papa's phone. I used his phone, but it just wasn't. And as a digital marketer, you guys cannot understand my pain. But right now, that story is changing. I am gifting myself. And Samsung baby for life, please. No shades to iPhone users. Except I even want to trade it. Samsung baby for life. Samsung, 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 Samsung. I'm getting a new Samsung, and you guys are going to see difference. I promise you guys, huge difference. iPhone users. Right now, I'm speaking directly to you watching this video. I know I may be young. I mean, I have friends that are over 30, well over 30. I have friends that are, younger than 25. I have friends within my age bracket. I have friends that are close to 30. And whatever age you might be watching, you are at watching this video, I believe I have, dropped some nuggets for you to, retrospect and like look back on. To you watching this video, know that, like I've said before, becoming can happen at any age. This video, like I said, is not to tell you the story of my life. I mean, if it's the story of my life, I could tell you for days, but it's for you to like think back on your life, see, like look inward, see what you're doing right, what you need to do better, what you're doing wrong, what you need to stop. And like I always say, one thing you should always have at the back of your mind is always the basics. Now, should I say I'm a basic person? I love basics. So before you say anything, I always like to like look at the basics. Like when you say respect, what is respect? You say humility, what is humility? Things like that before you now start building. Because I've seen that the normal people of this day actually thrive and actually succeed on the basics. It's the abnormal ones you see having problems, in quotes. They are the ones having problems, and they are the ones you see creating and constituting nuisance on social media and even in real life. So I feel like the basics should never be ignored, though it can be modified, but there are some that you have to look closely, because there is actually a thin line between the negative and the positive. So I guess that's all I have to say to you watching this video right now. You should have learned a thing or two from my lifetime stories. I mean, it's not my lifetime, but like my stories in my life. Yeah, so always celebrate your small wins. If you fall, don't stay down. I know it's a cliche thing. When you fall, don't stay down. Always always believe in yourself to rise up. Always believe in yourself to like stand back up, because it's when you stay down you actually lose. Failure is not something you should run away from. I mean, failure you guys are distracted. Failure is not actually something you should run away from. In fact, I believe one should embrace failure, because it actually like shows you. God, I'm gonna they distract me for this my speech here they give. Yes, seriously. Before I started this, okay, wait. Promise to digress. Before I started this business, didn't you fail once in your life? I've gotten the answer I need. I'm going to use it as example. Oh, and then you stood up back, right? Now that's how it is. So, yeah. In the end, it's good to like embrace failure. But you constantly now failing, you should check yourself. Something is wrong with you. But I mean, we've not done this life thing before. This is our first time doing life, and we're bound to fail. And like I said, getting back up is like the real thing, and not just staying down. So I guess that brings us to the end of this becoming. This is the year I turned 25. This is my becoming. I hope to hear stories on your becoming. Thanks for watching, and happy birthday to me, Doña Dunnie. So this is Doña Dunnie. Please do subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are interested in personal development, faith, and lifestyle. This is the channel for you. Don't miss out. If you want to keep hearing words of wisdom like this, sleep on this channel. I'll get bed and blankets for you. Sleep with pillow. This is the channel for you. Thank you. God bless. Peace out. Fremu, video producer.
Nima Curate.
Hi guys, I'm makeup artist.
Oh, my high Tell me
Underscore
Eliza.beth.
Okogo.
Rap.
Rap.
Thank you guys for watching.